Y'all might be in for a treat. You know, back before the war broke out, I was a saucier in San Antone. I bet I could call up some of them greens. Yeah, noodle some crawfish out the patty, yo. Ha, I made us some crab apples for dessert now, yeah? Hell yeah! Ha!
Hell yeah! Ha! That's how we all talk. We all talk like this, huh? Yes, sir. Huh? Yeah, get some crawfish and some ribs. Ha! Yeah! You're Australian. Be Australian. Excuse me, Kangaroo Jack.
Y'all might be in for a treat. You know, back before the war broke out, I was a saucier in San Antone.
What up, what up, what up? What up? This your boy Ty Data. Let me go ahead and do a nice little sound check. What up, what up, what up? Yeah, we're about to get it in. We're about to get it in. So, yeah, what's up, everybody? How everybody doing? I been busy, taking a little break. Everybody good? Who we got in the building? Let's check out who we got in the building, because we finna do it big right now. We got Traumahawk in the building, Nonetheless in the building, Seeking of the Truth in the building, Ghost in the building, of course Ghost in the building. What up? We got V Ghost Feathers. What's up? Where we at? Where we at? We got Brandon in the building. What's up? What's up, Brandon? How you doing, family? How y'all been? We got Allison in the building. We got some new people coming over from the old channel. Just for the new people, just to let y'all know, they flagged, they got our channel shut down. Three different channels shut down, and so we kind of living in the back here right now. But we'll be back soon, because I got a remedy for that. But peace. Yeah. So yeah, so here I'll be calling them in a little bit. We'll be talking around 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock my time. And so you know, I got some stuff I want to talk about. And the brother Duke of Tears, I talked to him yesterday for a nice amount of time, and he schooled me, and he told me some stuff about this community that I didn't know about. And so, you know, I was going into this community, you know, jokey, goofy. You know, I was supposed to be the you know, the man behind the scenes type of guy, but somehow I done end up becoming a YouTube personality. I admit it's fun. It has some cool things to it, but I don't know. Well, I didn't know what I was getting myself into until you know, till I had a good spoke with the brother. So I'm not into the WWE no more. I put my hands down to the WWE. I'm gonna leave that alone. I just want to get back to building. And those of you who come here to see a WWE spar match, I'm sorry. I'm not the guy to keep sparring. But those of you who come here for building, welcome home. You should be at home here. So I'm throwing in the towel of the spar match. But before I go and I leave the sparring alone, I have some stuff that I would like to get off my chest first. And you know, and I got some questions. What up, family? What up? Ron Redbird in the building. Joe 47, TAF in the building. All time flat power in his piece, straight up. And what's up? And so yeah, so I do got some stuff I want to get off my chest before I leave this stuff alone. It's like I say, I didn't know what I was messing with. Nobody really told me intimate details about, you know, the conscious community and who these guys is and what these guys was. And You know, and when people tell me, they just kind of, when I hear stuff, it's just the stuff I heard. But when it came to the Duke of Teals, he broke it down in a way that I don't want no part. I don't want no part of the WWE. So, but before I go, we're gonna have to get some stuff in though, you know. But one thing I want to talk about, if people can help me to explain, is that I want to talk about colonization and how some of the people, how these people in the community is trying to colonize our people with their information, and why is it so embarrassing to our people that these people are trying to colonize, that our own people are trying to colonize us with information. And it's very embarrassing. So I want to get in a little bit on that. I was going to try to get Dane on the phone, but, you know, the Duke asked for an exclusive interview. So, and it's all, and Black Lotus hooked this up again. Shout out to Black Lotus Civilization, y'all. We done put out some heavy hitters for y'all. Next up, we're going to be getting Busy Bone up in the Aboriginal community. So, but first we got to do is we got to get our channel fixed. So we got to get our channel fixed. And so we're going to get our channel fixed, and we're going to get Busy Bone up here and Bone Thugs and Harmony. They're Aboriginals also. And so they're going to spit some of that flame, that Aboriginal flame. Y'all know who Bone Thugs and Harmony is, them Cleveland Indians. You know. But and so hold on one second, you guys. Hello.
Yo.
What up? What up? We got Chief Holiday on the phone, you guys. So yeah, give me a couple minutes. I'll go ahead and shoot you out the link. If you don't got it by now, I'll go ahead and shoot it out to you. But we live right now. All right. Yeah. So, but let me go ahead and get a little quick commercial in. Let's get our information in. Everybody know that, you know, if you're a vet, please call us up. We got programs and stuff, things going on for you. If you have a business location, please call us up. We got business ventures and we got programs for you. So please email chiefholiday@gmail.com. Email datadogs33@gmail.com. Also, if you have any business ideas or any businesses, if you want to sell your businesses or step up your game in your businesses, please contact Aboriginal Consulting. And also, I want to go to a quick commercial break real quick. So give me 1 second. Let us go to a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we're gonna get it in, and we're gonna call Duke of Tears. Peace.
Zayas Institute is committed to providing exemplary Afrocentric educational programs based on standards.
It's a need for Zayacs, not only in New York, it's a need for Zayacs in the Midwest, in the South, in the North.
The foundation of our society's education, knowledge. Knowledge is power. Until we educate our own people, we will not be successful as a people.
Our programs will ensure the consistent educational investment to our community and enhance each of our participants' growth by providing them with a creative, purposeful, and ethical atmosphere.
So it was really important for me to, become involved in something that is for the upliftment of my people. And since I've been here teaching and coordinating students, I definitely feel connected.
Peace, y'all. My name is Fontaine. I'm the director of the Zayacs TAP program. I just wanted to tell you we have a great program. We have a lot of great teachers. This is all free of charge. All you have to do is show up.
Is that we've been able to recruit over 100 students to our Project TAP program.
In the future, I definitely see Zayacs expanding. I see schools opening for children and hopefully some technical programs for adults.
We're definitely looking for any other volunteers to teach any of the core subjects of science, social studies, writing, reading.
Making a change.
What up, what up, what up? What up, what up, what up? So I want to give a shout out to one of the good Afrocentric brothers over there in Brooklyn, New York. He over there doing his thing. He got him he got a little school over there. He needs support. So we need to be able to support the brother. He doing good things. It's sad that other people don't try to support him as much, and maybe they do, and we just don't know about it. But us over here, we need to do our job, and we need to do our fair share in our community to make sure anybody doing something good in our community, whether they're white, green, black, or whatever color they call themselves, we need to make sure we support them. So let's give it up to the brother Q Butter over there. Most people should know him over at Zion, Zyx Studios over there. He can use donations. He can use lunch boxes, book bags, anything you can ship over there to the brother to help him, because he running the school over there. So we need to be helping out. Also, we got the brother Tahanka Bay. He has more village. He's trying to get a village for himself and for the people, and we also need to be able to support that as well. He's doing good things in the community, and that's kind of rare. You know what I'm saying? So we need to be able to support that all time. Don't let no ideology or no theory get in the way of your brothers who need your help. I know that's kind of artificial for some people who just got out of prison and thinking we warping gangs and Ty Data is a traitor and all this. Man, scratch it. This is not prison. This is real life. My brother's over there doing it, and I'm going to rep them every chance I get. No matter what theory they go by or what ideology they'll go by, we connected. So I just want to get that out the way. And so let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and get a brother a call, but we're gonna go ahead and take a quick one more quick break for Aboriginal Consultant, because we need more people calling up. So call up as much as you can. And so we got it all. Anything you need, you know what I'm saying? I can't say we got it all, but just think we do. So give me one more second. I'll be right back. What up? So I wanna get a little bit into well, my levels is up pretty high. I wanna get a little bit into colonization and what is colonization, because I feel that the people was trying to colonize the people with their information and with this ancient Egypt information. And so and after that, you know what I'm saying, I just want to get back to building. I don't want to be you know what I'm saying, involved in the WWE match no more. I came to this community, you know what I'm saying, with honest intentions and trying to help out and lend a hand, and that's the reason why I'm here. And I got laughed at many times for trying to hey man, call this guy, let's and trying to and so I understand it don't work like that in the real world or in this community. It doesn't work like that. Your ideology have to line up. Your politics is very important. And so we've been in a sparring match, and we've been going back and forth with the Pan-Africans, and to me, it's all fun and games. I don't take it that serious. I don't get angry at people. I don't disrespect you. I don't tell you to shut the fuck up or anything like that. It's all fun and games to me. But unfortunately, some people are very serious. Now, I understand when it comes to your religion, and that's one of the reasons why I stay away from religion. But when it comes to your theory against this theory, that's nothing serious about that. Like really, like we need to be enemies because of that. We need to hate each other because your theory go this way and my theory go that way, for real. So it's all fun and games to me. But the brother has schooled me a little bit on the community, and so, you know, I just want to get back to work, and we're going to be doing that. So with that being said, I'm gonna let you know we got our cards in the mail for the 5,000 Elite. We got our membership cards in the mail, and we will be doing memberships and stock certificates handout pretty soon. And so we're very proud of that, and so be on the lookout for that. Now, I want to get into colonization. Now, in the beginning, I played a little clip of a movie called Tropic Thunder. I'm gonna play it again so I can break it down to you.
I bet I could call up some of them greens. Yeah, noodle some crawfish out the patty, yo. I made some crab apples for dessert now, yeah? Hell yeah! Ha!
Hell yeah! Ha! That's how we all talk. We all talk like this, huh? Yes, sir. Huh? Yeah, get some crawfish and some ribs. Ha! Yeah! You're Australian. Be Australian. Excuse me, Kangaroo Jack.
Yeah. So I want y'all to get this, guys. I want y'all to get that metaphor and understand what he was saying. What's going on? Now, there was an Australian guy pretending to be a so-called, you know, melanated guy from America, and he had this little accent. And the real guy from America, melanated guy from America, told him, said, "Man, you are Australian. Be a Australian. Like there's nothing wrong with that. You are Australian. Be an Australian." I don't see why that's a big deal. Now, the reason why I say that is because a lot of these guys in these community, they say their DNA goes back to West Africa, but yet they walk around with Kemetic costumes on and all this ancient Egypt stuff. So the message is, if you're West African, be West Africa. Be West African. West African has very beautiful people. They have lots of good traditions. Some of their cities in West Africa can rival cities that we have. They do have some weird stuff that they don't have. They have women with slinky necks, and sometimes, and people with the lip plate in their lip, and they have some scar tattoos and stuff like that. So yeah, they got some weird stuff, but that's okay to be a West African. I don't know how these guys figure out that they're ancient Egyptians and they're real life Egyptians. I guarantee you I guarantee you I am more likely to be an Olmec than you are to be an ancient Egyptian or some Kemetic scientist or something. Okay? So I don't know how these guys come here. They say they're West African, but they got a Kemetic name, they got a Kemetic philosophy, and they got all this Kemetic stuff. How are you tying yourself to Egypt? Do you have a DNA lineage to Egypt? Do you have paperwork to Egypt? Are you on the Egypt dial rolls? Is your family on the walls in Egypt? No. So how the hell are these people going in our community claiming to be West African but spitting Egypt? Only in America you can get away with that. Okay? Because I guarantee you, if you go to West Africa, you're not going to find any Kemetic priests, you're not going to find any Kemetic names, you're not going to find anything Kemetic. Okay, if you go to Somalia, there's not going to be no Somalians with Nigerian names. There's not going to be no Somalian with no Kenyan garments on, talking about they come from Kenya. So if you are West African, be West African. That means you should have a West African name. You should have West African traditions. That means you should have West African culture, and maybe you should have a West African religion. Why are you in ancient Egypt? We don't know. It's called colonization. These guys are trying to colonize you. If you are Chinese from China, chances are you have a Chinese name. Chances are you have Chinese traditions and Chinese customs. If you are someone from, let's say, the Bantu tribe in Africa, chances are you have a Bantu name, you have Bantu religion, and you probably eat Bantu food. So why are the Bantu people walking around like they actually real life Egyptians? Dude, you're not a Egyptian family. They're trying to colonize our people. Okay? Only in America where you can get away with that. You understand? This is the same exact thing the Europeans did to us. When they came over here from Europe, they gave us a Bible. Okay? Even though the Bible might go back, they took the Bible, did whatever to the Bible, whatever they did to the Bible, they had the Bible and they gave it to us for a reason. Now these guys are West African, giving us ancient Egypt philosophy. That's the same thing. It's called colonization. They're trying to colonize you people. And most people don't even see it. Most people don't even understand it. They're trying to colonize you. I guarantee you will not find a Kemetic temple in the Bantu tribe in West Africa. Some dude said he said I traced my lineage back to Ghana. Okay, well then why your name sound like Senior Sentin Punt? Like why you got an ancient Egyptian name if you Ghanaian? Shouldn't you have a Ghana name? So I encourage the people that has the West African DNA, because they have every right to go after the DNA, because we get it. We're all messed up. We've been through a lot. Our heritage and our background is all messed up. If some people want to take the DNA route, they have that right. Whether you believe it or not, if you say you are from the Bantu tribe, I shall acknowledge you from the person from the Bantu tribe. I have no business trying to argue with you and tell you something else. That's ignorant of me, and that's ignorant for anybody else that try to argue somebody else's lineage. For one. Now, if you are from the Bantu tribe and you're from West Africa, be West African. Go over there to those people. Mingle with those peoples. You might want to get you a little West African name. You might even want to get you a slinky neck for your wife, or maybe even plate in your lip, or you might even want to get you some land, some gold, some silver, some copper, or some wild animals or something. You understand? So just be West African. There's nothing wrong with being West African. Those are beautiful people over there, and they smart. They speak multiple languages over there, more languages than we do. And if you go to some of their cities look way better than the cities we have here. But why these people don't want to go where their DNA say they from? No, they don't want to do that. Now I guarantee you, I have more of a chance of being a nomad than you have of being an ancient Egyptian. You guys are not real Egyptians. Your DNA is nowhere up there. But how do you get up there? How do they connecting themselves up there? Now I understand it was supposed to be a hub for people, but how long? And just because I went to Chinatown don't make me Chinese. It doesn't make no sense. They're trying to colonize you. They are West African colonization. That's all it is. Because if you are West African, you should have there's no reason your name should be Pharaoh Sutton Sitting Suit or some some weird ass name. You are not a real Egyptian. You might be a real West African though. I'll give you that. But be West African, man. Those people are lovely over there. Go over there. Check them out. Make friends with them. Eat their food. Learn them. But don't be a West African over here pumping out ancient Egyptian philosophy. That's called colonization. You're trying to colonize our people. You're telling them two different things. Oh, I am Rahu such and such, but I am West African. Like, how the hell did you match that up? Now, see, us, all we got to do is go back at least anywhere from 5 to 10 generations, and we having trouble with that. And we can stumble upon the truth of our true identity with 5 to 10 generations in our family. And we can stumble upon the 100% fact truth, or we can have a very accurate truth. Now, if you're going to go over there to, you're gonna go all the way to West Africa, then you're going to go all the way up to Egypt, and then you're going to go 2,000 years back, and you're going to say that's you? Come on, man, this is embarrassing to our people, you guys. This is very embarrassing. Could you imagine how these people up here looking at us? They say, look at these people. They say, look at them. How that's called colonization, man. They're trying to colonize you. You see? And I want you to understand and study colonization. Because they over here saying, well, I'm a West African, but yet my name is Rahum Tunhum Tump, which doesn't exist in West Africa, and there's no unks in West Africa. They don't do that stuff. They don't got nothing to do with that. So they feeding you this ideology that they've been given to somebody, or somebody has stole upon them, and they trying to they went somewhere and see some people in some pyramids and say, hey, that's us. Okay, for example, maybe that is you. How the hell are you determining that? Because last I checked, your DNA goes back to West Africa, and you go to the Bantu tribe. And the last I checked, the Bantu tribe don't have nobody named Rahum Sarhunton in their tribe. They don't have no unks in their tribe either. They don't have no ancient Egypt anything. And so I just want to address that, and I hope the people can wake up and see what's going on. Now I'm going to go ahead and call Duke of Tears, and we're going to get in it on a little bit, and he's going to just, you know what I'm saying, he's just going to go in. And so let me hook my phone up. But I encourage the people who like to go with their DNA and say, I am West African. I encourage you to actually go there and actually mingle with the people and actually learn their customs, because they're actually still alive. They're actually still here. So that will be a wonderful thing for you to go there and get you one of those names or one of those slinkies on your neck or some shit, you know what I'm saying, just to come back and go visit and be amongst your true heritage. Because when you spending all of your money in Egypt and all this Egyptian shit, that is called colonization. You have been colonized. A colonized people trying to colonize their people. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it moving. And I hope people can understand what colonization is. And if you are West African, more power to you. Be a motherfucking West African. Don't be an ancient Egyptian. There's no ancient Egyptians in West Africa. I'm sorry. Damn. So let me call a brother, get the good brother on the phone. Black Lotus might step in. I can't, man. They don't understand. See, this is the thing. They asking questions that they cannot answer themselves. So if you ask me, hey, what is the language of such and such a tribe? And then I ask you, hey, what is the language of such and such a tribe? And you can't even answer your own question. You're double dumb. You're double dumb. So don't ask nobody no questions that you can't answer. Because I guarantee you when we're gonna look at West Africa and we're gonna see a bunch of beautiful people, and we're gonna see, but because America try to hide the true West Africa, they're gonna show us the dirty parts and they're gonna show us the slum parts. But we're not dumb. We know West Africa got some got a nice civilization running all through it. We know that. We know them. You know, some of them people over there living decent and living good. They got millionaires. They making cars. You know what I'm saying? They got money. You know what I'm saying? They got their own money and their own customs. Them people ain't over there starving like they showing us. We know that. But if you're a Bantum tribe, man, I'm sorry. You can't be both, man. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. Only in America you can be both. Only in America you can walk around, be a West African and a Egyptian at the same time. Like, how the fuck? Like, how does that work? Only in America. Yeah, I guarantee if you go to Somalia with some Nigerian shit, you're not gonna last long. I guarantee if you go to West Africa with some ancient Egyptian stuff, you're gonna find problems amongst yourself. People are not gonna know what you're talking about. What? Sarat what the hell is that? So pick a choice, man. West African is beautiful, and I give it up to West African, man, because them people been around for a long time and they lasted, and you know, and they do a lot over there that we don't know about. They got all types of stuff over there. They got cars over there. They got a lot of stuff over there that we don't know about. So West Africa is dope over there, and we don't even know it. And the West African people are in Egypt. It doesn't make real sense, man. It doesn't make. But I guess that's cool. If you want to be a citizen of America with West African heritage, but you want to be ancient Egypt at the same time, sure, maybe that might work out for you. You know what I'm saying? That might work out for you. But for the time being, y'all, we need to get the building, and I finna get the brother on the phone, and let's get it in. Colonizing, man, and I don't even think they doing it on purpose. Hello, peace. Hold on, let me get you on speaker. Hello,
I'm here.
Yes, y'all. We got the Duke of Tears in the building, with your boy the Cyborg. Yes, so you know, I talked to him a little bit. You know, he schooled me on some stuff, and like I say, this is my last time addressing, you know the WWE and all them people like that, because we need to get the building and less yapping and more building. So he's a celebrity. You know, he's a celebrity. He's one of the founders of this information, and so. I'm gonna let him tell you. Can you explain to us how you became in this information and what was it like in those days? Because you didn't have the internet and you didn't have Google. So can you kind of elaborate on that with us?
Yes, indeed, man. Can you hear me? Because it seems like it's a reverb. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm here. I got you on speaker.
Okay. Yeah. Well, when I first started getting aware of this type of consciousness, started in 97.
You said 1997?
Mm-hmm.
19.
Around the year my son was born. My eldest son was born.
So what were you like before?
Had knowledge of self, but I started to really listen to something that a friend of my grandmother's would tell me. I just got into the consciousness. This is the era of like Brand Nubian, Public Enemy, all that type of stuff. So X-Clan stuff.
So can I ask what type of group or what type of ideology was you before you got into the Aboriginal consciousness?
My family and them, my mother and them, like my aunt was a Panther back in the day, and then my mother, she wasn't as militant, but they had a certain aspect of consciousness. So I would say basic, like, Afrocentrism, basically, coming out of that whole post-70s Black Panther, we now got to integrate type situation. So she, she was a Baptist or whatever, but my grandmother happened to be talking to the attaché to the ambassador to a country of Africa called the Gambia. And one day he saw me in my little red, black, and green outfit or whatever, and he was just like, "Why are you trying to be African and you know your peoples is not from there?" Now he's from the continent. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's from the continent, from the Gambia, born and raised. He started going out with my grandmother or whatever. And when he seen me on my, back to Africa shit, he was like, "Why would you go back to some place you never been before? Like, this is your country. So your people that's born here as blacks is not Africans, because they was always here in America." So back then, I thought that was almost sacrilege, you understand? Because, we was taught the slave trade, 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, made a slave out of me and you, brought Jesus and the Bible too, you know what I'm saying? So that was what it was. So I was really heated behind that. And I would really go in on him, and we would have, like, fierce debate. But then, right around the time I got knowledge of self through I got 120 through the Nation of Gods and Earth. And I started to see, like, certain aspects of that and how it was related to indigenous culture, being that the Nation of Gods on Earth, the Nation of Islam, the Moorish and Central America, these are all indigenous so-called Asiatic or so-called black theocratic or theological movements that was homegrown, born here, you know what I'm saying, not imported from somewhere else. So I started to really understand, like, maybe the stuff he was telling me back in the days was true. So from that point on, I started really heavily researching that, and then that research brought me into the knowledge of the Moors. And then from there, everything just really started to open up and make a whole lot more sense when I started to understand what Moors or who people were, and that's when I started coming across words like Aboriginal, or Tonkin. Like, niggas, people wasn't using words like that up until a certain time, you know what I mean? And that was after 2002. This was after the UNDRIP thing. This was all leading to the UNDRIP, which is the United Nations Declaration for Indigenous People. Blacks didn't even know they was indigenous. It's like they wasn't calling themselves that back then. You see what I'm saying? They was saying, "Oh, we from here, whatever, whatever." Or they would say things like, "Oh, well, there was ancient Africans here." But my problem was the fact that if Africans from the continent always had their own identity, then why is it that so-called blacks here in America have their own identity? It's not like when they go to people in Brazil, and say, all your ancestors came from Africa. You need to go back to Africa. Or like when they go to India and they see all these dark-skinned Dravidian people, they don't go to them and say, "Yo, you know what? All your peoples was really from Africa. You're not Indian. You're really African. Go back to Africa." Same thing when you go to Dominican Republic or Bolivia or wherever. Wherever there's Asiatic people, nobody goes to those people that's there and tells them that they really from somewhere else. The only people they do that to is so-called blacks born in America. So ask yourself why. Because the idea of you having a distinct identity that is outside of anybody else's so-called culture means then that you have a direct lineage and relationship to the world, to the Creator, to your ancestors that nobody else got. And everybody wants you to believe that you subsist and you exist based upon them letting you exist, when really it's the opposite. And so I started really going hard from that point on, really understanding not only the so-called indigenous or aboriginal, I don't like using the term aboriginal a lot because ab in Latin can denote to a Boer, right? It could also mean father, but if you're going to use the term, you might as well just use original because that's what it is. Like, instead of aborigines, we need to be origines if you're going to, you know what I'm saying? Get to the root of it.
Gotcha.
And so I just started going real hard with that type of information, man. And the Moorish thing is what allowed me to tie it all together and see that there was a method to this madness and that there's a reason why you don't refer to yourself under your own vine and fig tree and why you always got to predicate that with being something foreign. But really, the only thing we're foreign to is the corporate occupational government of the administrative office of the presidency of the United States I would say 1791, but to be modest, you could say since 1861.
Right, right. So yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about is like, because nowadays we got Google and information travels so fast. I mean, we done had conversations with people all over the world and all, you know, had all types of conversations. But back in those days, you guys didn't have that stuff. So can you tell these new Aboriginals or these, you know, I don't know whatever you want to call them, can you tell them what was it like back then for y'all to get this knowledge?
Well, back then you had to actually go to a lecture. Back then you had to actually go to a library. You know what I'm saying? Back then you actually had to go and actually speak to people who were putting out books, meaning meet authors, not YouTube pundits, not
Google
personality institutes. But you actually had to go and pursue the information that you wanted because nobody was giving it to you. When I was researching Moorish science and history, there was basically nothing out there. And the stuff that was out there was put under other names. So if I didn't know that the term Elamite or Ugarite or Chaldean or Panahasuan or what's another obscure one? Nabatean, Lydian. If I didn't know all of those types of people were actually Asiatic or black or so-called Moorish people, then I would have think I would be reading about some crackers.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
Because there wasn't a wellspring of direct information, and most so-called blacks that was dealing with this information, they were either coming from different ideological schools. So even though we was building on stuff, a lot of people were still segmented based upon who they felt their teacher was. So the Moors, out of everybody, the Moorish Science Temple or the Moors, period, are the first ones in the history of the United States of America, right, in General Congress Assembled, to ever bring up the fact that we was always here and that we was not imported slaves from Africa.
Yeah, and that's
the only ones.
And
matter of fact, Nawajul Ali was the first one to bring Islam to America, to the point that he was even challenged by a African Muslim from Africa named Sati, I believe his name was, back in the days. And he tried to take the prophet to court, to the white man, and this, and that, and tell how the white man that he wasn't practicing the real Islam and all this other type of shit. So once he tried to bring it to the court to the white man looked at him and said, "You don't know what you're talking about."
Right.
He said, "That's the prophet." He said, "He's an American prophet, so I don't give a damn what y'all talking about. Leave that man alone."
So,
and they deported the Africans. You know what I'm saying? So they can say what they want to say, do what they want to do. But there's a reason why they'll talk to you about Malcolm X and not Nawajul Ali. There's a reason why they'll talk to you about Egypt and not the Olmecs. There's a reason why you can ask a so-called African scholar give you a list of mad African kings and shit, but then you ask them for, well, give me the name of some American kings that live here. Everybody draw a blank.
Yep.
That's because they have made you believe that your reality is based upon somebody bringing you somewhere. So basically, they saying, like, your whole existence in this country is based on a taxi ride, basically.
Right.
That they put you on a boat and brought you over here, and you ain't got no other choice. And the reason why you look the way you look is because some white man raped your grandmother. This is the story. This is the genetic history they giving black people in America.
Right.
And niggas is biting it up, eating it up, hook, line, and sinker. Then on top of that, this is before the whole DNA test wave and all that shit started. So when I was going into these courts and banging on these crackers and letting them know, like, no, we actually have an identity that's outside the one that you prescribed for me that makes me your slave.
So hold on one second.
The crackers never had no problem with that.
So you saying
the only people that got a problem with you not being from Africa is so-called black people. Because what you don't know is that back in the days there was a guy named Braun and a guy named Hershkowitz and a guy named Melville. And these dudes was the ones that created Afrocentrism. Look it up.
They
He
created
wrote a
it.
book called The Myth of the Negro Past.
Was
And
they actually
from that
Africans?
Point, yep. It was called the Myth of the Negro Past, of a Negro Past by Melville. I believe it's Melville or Hershkowitz, one of them. But these are the two fathers of so-called white Afrocentrism. These are the founders of the whole Back to Africa. These are the founders of the people that basically said that you was a kidnapped slave from Africa. These two white men. And then what they did was they worked with other Caucasians as well as other so-called blacks to help create a system by which they could perpetuate this myth. Now, I'm not saying that a lot of our people or some of our people were not enslaved. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you cannot enslave a people who phenotypically or archetypically are not Slovenian. Because the word slave means Slovak or Tuslav, which means to serve. And that was a group of people from what they call Europa. Back then it was called Circassia. Now they call it the Caucasus. So that means our people then were prisoners of war, which then means our people then had individual kingdoms, empires, and dominions that they still have access to based upon their lineage. So that's when I really started to see that there was a concerted effort within the so-called melanated community to keep so-called black people looking to Africa instead of understanding that the Africa that they on is right under their feet right here. Meaning that these same black Afrocentric scholars throughout the years, right, they grew up teaching us all of this history about Africa and America and this and that, right? But the maps they was giving us was the same eugenics-based Mercator maps, right, that list Europe almost the same size as Africa. You understand? That list Africa, Germany on the eastern portion, on the northern portion of Europe, when really it's on the eastern portion. This is the same maps that's actually upside down. It's actually given to us in the wrong way. And this is the map that our Afrocentric scholars was giving us to base history on.
Straight up.
This was the map that was given to them by the eugenics predecessors,
Wow.
like Melville, like Hershkowitz, like
wow.
There's another one, Thaddeus Stevens, like Horace Greeley, like all of these crackers that created these whole fake mythos, these whole fake origin stories for us all to be up under.
Wow.
So the question is, if we knew that the cracker lied about all of that, why would we believe his version of even how the world looked?
Right. Right.
Why was that still given to us as a means to digest? Because all that did was reinforce his worldview, regardless to how black or whatever the people were.
Right, and they don't understand the power in that. They don't understand the power of seeing the world as the so-called white man sees the world. So they keep they keep preaching his stuff, not understanding. You're seeing the world through his eyes. You're explaining his math. You're explaining. You're explaining every single thing he's saying. You see the world to them, and you bringing it to our people, confusing us, saying your DNA is West African, but you are ancient Egyptian. It's confusing.
Thank you, Mo. Like, come on, man. Think about this. They got pictures of these Moors, like they had some people banging on the Moors. You know, they always hate the Moors. Even though 10 years ago, half these people didn't even know what a Moor was. But long story short, you got people showing pictures of what happened in the Congo with Leopold and them, where you got these Africans wearing these so-called fez hats. I won't even call them fezzes. I call them fez hats. And they basically brutalizing and beating up other Africans, right?
Yeah.
And then the ignorant amongst us use those pictures to try to make it seem like those people were the same Moors like me and you today, or those Moors that were part of the empire, blah, 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 back in the day. When none of those people that you see in them pictures was actually West African. Think about this. They want us to be Moors from enslaving people in East Africa while we was getting enslaved in West Africa. How are we enslaving people and getting enslaved at the same time? How are we doing that? Matter of fact, how is it that if those people were Moroccans, right, who was enslaving them people in the East Africa, such as the whole Congo situation, what happened in Rwanda and all that, then if they was so-called Moors like that, how come they wasn't speaking Arabic? How come they wasn't speaking Maghreb? How come they wasn't speaking French? How come they wasn't speaking any of the languages that the Moors in West Africa were speaking, Northwest Africa was speaking, number one. And number two, how is it that they was already killing each other prior to Leopold getting there?
Right.
How about that?
Right.
How about the Senegambians, the East Africans, the Kenyans, the Ugandans, the Rwandans? They was all banging on each other for years before Leopold got there. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that's no different, right, than what's happening today, where you have a group of blacks doing their own thing or whatever, and then you get another group of blacks that become police, and then they go to shut them down, working for the man. What's the difference?
Right.
You know how many black police brutalize black people? In some instances, more than crackers.
So can you say, or how would you feel about, saying that the Moorish, movement, or whatever you want to call it, faith, is a actual, authentic Aboriginal American faith? Would that be?
It was the official, authentic American autochthon indigenous movement, because we was the first ones. The Prophet was the first one, going back to 1913, saying that when the European came here, he found Moors living up and down the Mississippi River. Who was talking about that? Nobody was talking about that but him.
So what do you think
he was the one saying that we was already from here? And this is coming out off the cuff of the Marcus Garvey movement. Because when Garvey left, all the UNIA people, they had nowhere to go. So they went into what was called the Divine National Movement, or the Divine and National Movement. And that was the movement in which we established ourselves as true American citizens through our American nationality as Moorish American. Period. And it's the oldest one. There was nobody talking this shit that was melanated prior to him. So that means everybody that's out here calling themselves Autochthon American, American American, Aboriginal American, Paleo American, whatever you want to call it, man.
OMAC.
All that shit came from the Prophet. All of it. And if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't know none of it. None of us would. You wouldn't even have Muslims in this country if it wasn't for him. So what do? So what do blacks do? That are giving credit where it's due. That are giving credit to an indigenous American movement that started by original Asiatic black men and women, so-called black men and women, that denote the fact that they had their own kingdom, their own empires, their own free national name, their own flag, their own constitution, that was not predicated upon them being slaves. You mean to tell me that if I then claim that I'm now somehow going against this so-called new wave of us believing that we're from here, when really this thing came from a source? Nobody want to give credit to the source, and that's why black people don't go nowhere. Because black people don't honor the prophets and the people that sent to them to give them real shit. They'd rather go to the charlatans. See what I'm saying? Like, I've been out here for a long time, and the reason why I've been able to do that is because I'm not with the foolishness. I'm not with debate and foregone conclusions. I'm not out here trying to get people to like what I'm doing, because in the end, this ain't what we're doing. It's not even for us. This is for the generations that's supposed to come after, so that way they don't got to go through none of this shit.
Thank you.
I'm dealing with these crackers in the State Department and stuff like this all the time, getting people their nationality corrected properly, where they are listed as not only indigenous, but actually having an actual estate in this country. Ain't no Africans doing that. They setting y'all up for the trick bag. What they really doing is saying this. They just got Ghana to come out with the line, say, oh, well, we sorry for enslaving y'all and putting y'all in slavery. This is all in conjunction with the same 2020 census shit that's supposed to come out, where it's going to force you to have to define what your nationality is if you claim to say be black. So what this is doing is setting the parameters up now for them to be able to actually deport you now if you're not claiming that you're from here. Because if you're saying that you were imported as an imported African slave, then that means then one of these African nations they can deport you to if they want.
Yup. Do y'all understand that? Hold on, let's marinate on that, because you spitting it out, and people gonna have to go back to watch the video. But I want people to marinate on that.
Islam.
Can you say that one more time?
What I'm saying is that they setting up the trick bag for these blacks that are continuously putting themselves under this Pan-Africanism banner. When Pan-Africanism, first of all, the word pan, okay, if we really want to get into it, yes, it means across, yes, it means abroad, right? But it also means the devil. It also means Lucifer, right? So right now you have a whole nother form of sexuality these crackers trying to put on everybody called pansexuality.
Right.
So
right.
Anything with pan in it, I'd be leery. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
also,
I'm sorry for using that word, y'all.
To cook people in.
Right. I'm sorry for using that word, y'all. I didn't know, but now from now on, I'm gonna give myself a little device or something if I use it to shock me or something. So I'm sorry for using it. But yeah, go ahead.
Because in the end, what I'm really saying is that it's all semantics, and that the spell on the people is through the words. So,
yeah, see, they don't understand that either. I don't think a lot of people understand that. I'm gonna break that down.
On his education.
Right, I'm gonna break that.
Like you got people in 2018 that still think the word nice means good.
Yeah, and I'm one of them.
When the word nice means stupid.
Yeah, and I'm one of them.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People still think fellow. When you say the word fellow, you talking about an individual. When a fellow is really a corporation.
Yeah, I'm
or
one of them.
somebody who is down on their luck.
Yeah.
Okay. So when Noble Joe Ali said the European is your fellow man, always treat him nice. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He was giving you the real, but giving it to you in the real language. He was saying, look, the European is a low individual with no knowledge of self. So you got to treat him nice, which means you got to treat him like he's stupid. Yeah. And that's how we talk to police, if you notice.
Yeah.
Whenever police come to you talk to them like they're about to go crazy.
Yeah,
right?
I've been trying to tell people that. Yeah, I've been trying to tell people these people are suicidal. So I don't like to talk to them in public on YouTube. Yeah, because I know that.
All of that to say that they are already setting up a position to deport indigenous blacks through their own mouth, through what they ally themselves with. So they want all blacks to believe that they came from slaves from Africa. So in order to do that, you need an African nation to co-sign that. So a couple of weeks ago, you heard that the United States had just bought this thing, and it said that they wanted to open 20 military bases in Ghana. You heard about that?
Nope.
Okay, well, they wanted to open 20 military bases in Ghana, right?
Right.
Then the next week, the Ghanan president or some Ghanan tribes came in and did a press conference in which they put out an edict and said that they were sorry for enslaving and selling their people, the so-called African Americans, into slavery. Now look at the build-up.
Look at the build-up.
Before, the United States is coming in, they want to set up 20 military bases. The next week, the people in Ghana, whoever's running the thing or whatever, say, oh, well, we want to open it up and let these people know that they can come back. But we're sorry for enslaving them or selling them to the European for slavery. So then this is also now in conjunction with the new 2020 census that says all blacks or anybody that's listing themselves under an ambiguous identity have to specifically identify what nationality they are coming from. So that means then you have to understand Aboriginal American is not a nationality. Autochthon American is not a nationality.
And we need to make one.
Paleo American is not a nationality. You understand what I'm saying?
And we need to get that done.
Yeah, none of those things are nationalities. Those are designations that denote what type of status the individual who's supposed to have a nationality is.
Right. So we need
what they're doing is they're giving you the bread without the meat.
Right.
They're telling you that they're indigenous and this, and that, but the thing that makes the indigenous thing click is when you got a nation or a government or a nationality that goes with that.
Yeah. And I'm trying my best.
For instance,
I'm trying my best,
there's no such
family.
thing as a Cherokee. There's no such thing as a Cherokee. That word was invented in the 1900s. Those people are called the Ananawea.
Ananawea.
The the Ananawiya were a part of the Tslaha-Gi, the Tslaha-Gi Confederation. T-S-A-L-A-G-I. Tslaha-Gi.
Hey, you know what? The Pope
Chala-
came out. The Pope came out with something too the other day when he was apologizing for colonizations to the indigenous people, and they used that specific word, indigenous people.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So they're using the word. So now this is when the indigenous people now who have a government or a nation that represents them is supposed to come out and pig dovetail over that.
Yep.
But they can't do that if they still using designations to define themselves and not national identities. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have everybody claiming Cherokee, but the original name of the Cherokees was the Ananawiya. So if you claiming Cherokee, you claiming something else. You understand what I'm saying? You claiming some new shit that was started by the $5 Indian. Those of us that know better supposed to do better. So if we know that it was Ananawiya, then what am I calling myself a Cherokee for? If I know that it's Boricua Kane, why am I calling myself Puerto Rican? You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Yup. Yup.
It's like people get mad when this cracker don't respect your culture, but you're using words that he defined your culture through to define yourself today.
Right.
So it's not gonna work.
You talking about yourself.
Yeah.
You calling yourself
you're
dumb
not
and
defining
stupid.
yourself. Like if I was to ask you your name right now, you would give me your whole name.
Right.
You wouldn't give me half the name. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's the same thing with the Asiatics or the so-called original indigenous people in America. Every 25 years, they call y'all something different. Every 25 years, man. Why? The only reason why you were African American now is because of Jesse Jackson.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
So does that mean that Jesse Jackson becomes the leader of all so-called African Americans?
Right.
Yes, because he coined the phrase.
Yes, I was telling people about that because he used to go over there to Japan and he used to go shake down those car companies. He used to go over there to Japan and tell them he's the leader of the African Americans, and they used to break him off 30, 40 something million because they wanted us to keep buying him his cars. You see what I'm saying? I did a report on that.
From?
Huh?
He learned that from he learned that from Michael Luther King. For y'all didn't know, his real name was Michael.
Nuh-uh.
And
straight up.
And he was all into white women. That nigga loved the white woman.
So
to the point where they caught that nigga. They said they caught that nigga in Norway. He actually got stabbed by a black woman who was revealing the fact that he worked for Rothschilds and them, and how he really hated black women at his book signing.
Oh, that's some huge claims. That's some huge claims. Now we gonna leave Martin Luther King alone, man. I was raised up on Martin Luther King. Let's leave that one. That's touchy. I'm joking.
Hey, I'm joking. Man, how y'all gonna go back to your original roots and you still holding on to the people
I'm joking,
who
family.
defined you as a slave?
Right, I'm joking, family. I'm joking. Go ahead, family.
I know. I'm just saying, like real talk. Like this is why we as a people are so caught up, because everybody given to us to revere was down with the program.
Even the people today. Even some of the people today.
Yes, most of them. I would say 90% of the information that you see on the YouTube about these type of topics and things like this, most of it is false. Because most of it is regurgitated information that they already got, that was already been out here. Like, there's so many books that crackers wrote. There's a book you can get, I forget the name of the cracker, but the book is called Primitive Black Nations in America. Get this book, man. And this was written by a cracker in the 18-something, when it said that we didn't have nothing. We were supposed to all be slaves here. It gets into not only the indigenous people's names, but the original names of the places that we in right now. Same thing. There's another book you can get called Unexplained Faces in Ancient America. Alexander von Wuthenau. There's so many books. But regards to the books, I think it starts more in the mind and understanding that everything that we have been taught has been taught to us by Freemasons. You understand?
Yeah.
And they have an obligation. One thing you got to understand about Freemasonry, I'm not talking about masonry now. I'm not talking about
Regular
stuff
everyday
the
people
Moors
and shit.
and
Yeah.
Kemet and all of that was doing. I ain't talking about all that.
Yeah, because a lot of
I ain't
people
talking
get
about
regular everyday
I ain't
Masons
talking
mixed
about,
up with
you know,
the other
naturally
ones.
being able to be on the square and build. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
So in that regard, we're all 720 Master Masons because we born on the square. Because we're born from a black woman. You understand? That's what makes you human. If you didn't know, right? So you gotta understand that I'm talking about the westernized Freemasons that merged with the blacks. Specifically, who did it? It was a guy named Albert Pike. Remember him?
Yeah, I heard that
He worked
before.
with a black man named Thornton Jackson, who was the head of the Prince Hall, and they worked on morals and dogma together to bring the white man and the black man into balance under the 14th Amendment, and which would create a situation where they would work together to maintain the new status quo of Reconstructed America. And in Reconstructed America, the black man was the slave, the white man is the master. Or the black man is the freed slave, the white man is now the humbled master. And those Freemasons have been working together in tandem ever since to keep everybody at odds with each other, because they understand that in order to be a Mason, you have to be put it like this. When you see them white boys wearing them fezzes with the writing on it, what they not telling you is that the name on the fez represents the Moor that owns the white man wearing it.
Wow.
Meaning that they are Muslim sons. They are slaves to the Moors. And they have agreed to keep the secret of who the blacks really are for as long as they can. And they're working with black people to do it, who have also kept the secret.
Right. Can you explain?
This is why everybody that you see that talk this knowledge shit and talk this whatever, if you go and check their histories, most of these niggas got an apron in the closet. So that means that they playing both sides of the game. This is why things in the community have not gotten no better.
Right, I was going to ask
you. Because at the very top of all of these so-called black organizations and so-called black this and that, all them niggas is going to the lodge on Thursdays, working with this cracker to figure out how they going to keep y'all in the trick bag for another 25 years while y'all come up with another name for yourself. This is where they at.
Wow, and so that's because I was going to ask you that, because you said, you know, the more movement go back, and I was going to ask you, you know, why you know what are some of the obstacles and some of the reasons you feel that, you know, they weren't able to you know, to do the stuff that we need to, you know what I'm saying, to get us out of this situation, you know,
that's a great question,
as progressive as we feel it should be needed.
Great question. The main thing that happened was the Prophet came and basically reestablished the dominionship for the Asiatics over North, Central, and South America. There was a big Pan-African conference at Cuba in which the United States was silent. It could not speak because the United States is the occupational government, and it was only set up for American states at the time. And so once he received that mandate, they went back to Chicago, had a major parade, and that parade was there to announce the birth of the nation. And so the nation was then reestablished. What happened, though, was, again, dirty Freemasons, right, came in through J. Edgar Hoover, who himself was a black man and a dirty Moor. I got pictures of him with the fez on and shit. He hooked up with another dirty Moor named C. Kirkman Bey, who was a colonel in the Army. And they worked with a guy named A. Philip Randolph. You heard of him, right?
Nuh-uh.
He worked with a dude named A. Philip Randolph, who worked with another person named Ida B. Wells.
I
heard about her, right?
Yeah, yep. I used to live in the projects in Chicago.
Yeah,
Ida B. Wells. Yeah.
And W.E.B. Du Bois. You heard about him, right?
Yep.
All those boule niggas got together with another nigga named Edward Minton, and they worked to reorganize how they could integrate Freemasons into the Moorish movement to stop the Moorish movement from giving the people back their nationality en masse. And so the Prophet was betrayed. C. Kirkman Bey, who was a colonel in the Army in the 33rd degree Mason, came in and took over the movement, tried to take the original Moors to court to stop them from using the stuff the Prophet left them. Then when the Moors got together to basically kill him, the Moors kidnapped. See, the Moors was about the business.
Mm-hmm.
They kidnapped this nigga. Was going to kill him. Right.
Right.
Then what happened? A. Philip Randolph or Hoover and them called the police. The police came, rescued the dirty Moor. Right. The other Moors that got locked up behind that. Then they broke the movement up. Then they took another Moor who was in the movement, who was Pakistani. His name was David Ford Eel. He then moved to Detroit, changed his name to W.D. Fard, and then he started the Allah Islamic Temple, which became the Nation of Islam. Then another dude went out to the east,
by Dirty
set up
Moor?
his own situation, because he was a part of the Prophet's Adab Temple. Basically, Hoover then, after the Prophet was done and C. Kirkman Bey and them got the fix in, they went to all the major adepts, meaning each temple has a master adept. And those master adepts would be like the 12 disciples around Jesus, Jesus now being Noble Jew Ali.
Right.
Once Noble Jew Ali was gone, Hoover came to the 12 adepts, 11, excuse me, at this time, and then gave them $40,000.
And that was it.
Y'all split this up and start your own movements and bury all of the real political, international, ecclesiastical stuff that the Prophet was doing and turn this shit back to a church. And that's what they did.
Wow.
C. Kirkman Bey did it for the Moors.
Wow.
Then another Moor went, his name was Manuel. He became known as Sweet Daddy Grace. Then there was another Moor. He went and set up his shit, the Universal Church, right? Universal Church of Light or Prayer of Light or some shit. Then the other one was Sweet Daddy Grace, right? Sweet Daddy Grace, Father Divine, W.D. Fard, Elijah Poole Bey, a.k.a. Elijah Muhammad. Who else? Another dude named Caesar Blake. He started the Shrinerdom movement amongst the blacks after the Prophet was gone. And each one of these movements then created people who came out of those movements.
Right, yeah.
And then the next generation came. So whereas you had Sweet Daddy Grace, the generation after him raised up in Moorish science, but we're going to keep that on the low because we Freemasons. Now you're going to come back out. My apprentice now is going to take over. His name is Reverend Ike. See what I'm saying?
Right.
And then Reverend Ike, then generation goes back, and then we get niggas like Creflo Dollar. See what I'm saying? Or whoever, T.D. Jakes or whoever, and our shit. I got a picture of T.D. Jakes in the Fez.
Wow, so they on the low Moors, huh?
They all are Moors in the closet. They
wow.
just act like they not for everybody else to turn y'all off from it. But in the reality, in my 45 years, I've been doing this, maybe, to be honest, I'm 45, so I've been doing it, like I said, hardcore since like 97. So for all the shit that I've seen, I've had dignitaries from other countries, man, literally bow to niggas. Bow to me with this fez and this turban on, based upon not just me having it on, but me understanding the context of how it's supposed to be formed.
Mm-hmm.
And they saying the same thing that I've been saying. We waiting for the original. We waiting for them to wake up.
Yep.
When are they going to come back into their own government? The reason why you don't hear nothing about the Republic in the United States anymore is because they can't talk about it. Because we're the Republic.
Right.
It's us.
Right.
We're the Republic for which it stands.
I got another question. I want to know, because I want you to go in on the regular Masons, because people can't distinguish between regular everyday Masons with the ones with the Illuminati. People having a hard time making that distinguish. And so if you are a Mason now, you're automatically some Illuminati child killing pervert. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
That's not the yes. That's a great question, bro. Yes. The thing about that is this. Masonry was created because we had to civilize what we call the devil. So the very act of Masonry was created to civilize the uncivilized. Meaning that these things was out here literally like subhuman. And they were causing so much confusion in the whole world or whatever that we chose to sequester them and keep them away from the rest of society. Mainly the 6 hills in the Caucasus, over there in Georgia, Russia. And then the rest of them was put in the so-called Rocky Mountain Range hills or whatever here, going all the way from what we down today call the Appalachians. There was groups of them up in there. That's why there's, to this day,
extraterrestrials.
The mountain white people in the Appalachians is totally different than the white people that live in the cities and all that. And they don't even want you to see them type of white people.
Extraterrestrials.
They're going back to the original, like Neanderthal gene white people up there. But long story short, we gave them a certain aspect of civilization to learn how to live amongst civilized people. And so we had marched them across the hot Arabian desert into the caves of West Asia. And the only thing they had to cover themselves was an apron, a lambskin apron. So the apron is the symbol of the shame, right, of the cracker over his phallus. You understand? Because everything is based on the fact that our penises was always bigger than his. Not to be vulgar, whatever, but in the end, it always go down to penis envy with the cracker.
Right.
Because he descends from, he has what's called RH factors in his blood, which means that he is Neanderthal. And Neanderthals, like gorillas, are notorious for having small penises. That's just how it was. You understand? Because they're coming from a lower recessed line. So
ain't y'all lucky out there
that the Moors was ruling Europe, those European Moors, they would take some of these Caucasians or whatever and then bring them and try to civilize them through the Freemasonry. Moors like Hugh de Payon. That was a Moor. His name was Hugh of the Pagans. He was the one that started the Templars. One of his first converts was a cracker named Godfrey de Bouillon. And these are the Templars that they burned at the stakes when they talk to you about in the movies and shit. So what happened was it got to a point where we would free them and accept them into the house. This is where you get free and accepted Mason from.
Oh, okay.
And so we would give them an apron that would represent them and what their true lineage was, reminding them how they got to be civilized.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Then we would put a sword at the upper part of their head that if they revealed any of the secrets that we gave them, their heads could be taken.
Right.
And so this became the basis of knighthood, where the Moorish knights or cavaliers would bring up those amalgamated crackers that was fighting for their own freedom against those Moors who would still seek to enslave everybody.
Okay,
right?
Okay, yeah.
And so this continued throughout the years, but then when the Moorish Empire fell, what the European Masons started to do was use the Masonry now to bring themselves into the Moorish Empire through secret. So they would get Moors to convert and bring them in because some of these Moors was amalgamated now.
Wow, hold on one
second. They was having babies with white women and shit.
Hold on one second.
And these babies would come out lighter, and so they would bring the babies into the Freemason side and not the straight Moorish side.
Hold on one second.
So they could get more numbers.
1 second. Hey, anybody out there thinking about making a movie off Duke of Tish, y'all gonna have to drop down. Cause this is some thorough stuff. So this is, I mean, straight up, right? So if y'all finna make a movie off this this live stream, y'all make sure y'all look out for us. All right?
Yeah, you need to hit us off, Pete. You need to hit us off and stop acting like Freemasons. That's what a Freemason will do. He'll hear us go in on it, and then he'll go speak to his other peoples, and they try to get in, cut us out. This is what I'm saying. This is why it happened. So long story short, man, it got to a point where they had enough of them on their side, and so they started to create rules and regulations and then created the homosexual rituals and shit. This is around the time that Albert Pike fan. So they had one big meeting in a place called Wilhelmsbad back in 1792, in which they agreed that they was going to split up everything and how the Moors was going to have their own thing, and the amalgamated Moors, i.e. the Muslim Sons, i.e. the Freemasons, would have limited jurisdiction over certain places. And so they used those bonds now to work together. And so they started to inject it now around the time that Albert Pike came. That's when they injected the Luciferian shit into it. And so this is when they started getting Luciferian. So that's when they split up the lodges.
So who brought the Luciferian? Who brought the Luciferian to the?
Those are all of the people. Those are all the storefront Masons that you see today in the hood. You know what I mean? The ones with the little lights on the back of their cars and shit.
Yeah, who brought the Luciferian?
To try to get out of a traffic ticket or some shit.
Yeah.
Right? Those are all Blue Lodge Masons.
You said to try to get out of traffic.
They are considered the lowest rung in Freemasonry.
Who brought
They're what's called the useful idiots by the High Masons.
Hey, who brought the Satanism? Who brought the Luciferian? Who brought that in?
Satanism specifically was brought in through 3 people: H. Helena Blavatsky. Number 1, she was the wet nurse for Adolf Hitler.
Oh man.
She also was the founder of the Theosophic movement. These are the people that were trying to create a new Christ.
Wow.
Through a guy named Krishnamurti. I don't know if you ever heard that story. But anyway, Blavatsky and the Theosophic Society set up something called the Lucifer Trust. And the Lucifer Trust was endowed by the Royal Heritage Society from England. And then all of the white societies through the Magna Carta became a part of it under the guise of what's called the Union Society.
Oh, got you.
That Union Society created another name for itself through Lloyd's Bank of London called the United States of America Incorporated.
Damn.
That United States represents these United States. These United States is really Washington, Rome, Tel Aviv, and the other one. It's Washington D.C., Vatican City, Tel Aviv in Israel, and London City in England. So those, when we talk about the United States of the Illuminati, those are these United States.
Right.
So all the Freemasons, whether it be the Order of the Garter, the Order of the Knights of St. John of Jerusalem, whether it's whatever type of order they're into, all Freemasonry is broken up into that aspect of it. You have the profane, those of us that's not Masons. Then you have the Blue Lodge, who the High Masons refer to as the useful idiots. They just use them to get money and to make them think that they have real secrets when they don't. Then above them now, you have what's called now the Scottish Rite, the Prince Hall, right? And then you got the higher ones than that. Most of the blacks are in the Prince Hall thing, right? All of the whites are in the other stuff, the Scottish Rite.
The satanic
and then above
stuff.
them now, when you get into the Illuminati level, right, that's when you get into orders that you don't really hear about, such as the Order of the Trapezoid or the Order of Memphis and Mizraim, right? The Jesuits of the Fourth Vow. That's the other thing. Most Masons are Jesuits, so that means they're all papists. They rock for the Pope. And so in that, if you're a regular person and you just get into the Freemasonry thing and into the Masonry thing, even if they're calling it Freemasonry, 10 chance to 1, you're not gonna have to eat no baby or nothing like that. But if you want to start to go high in it on the European side, you're definitely dealing with sacrifice. You're definitely dealing with some sort of ritual bloodletting. I met a Mason one time. Quick story. Me and the Queen is in Brooklyn on Fort Greene Avenue. We sitting in one of the outside cafes talking, and this lady was going to bring me an espresso, but the way that she did it was kind of whack. So I had to kind of like reprimand her. So, I'm in habit, meaning that, I'm wearing my, I think I had a black fez, right? My Queen was sitting there, we talking. The guy sitting next to me, kind of a bigger dude, he had a briefcase, well-dressed or whatever. He's sitting there with his sister. He looked at me and was like, brother, I definitely want to give you respect, man. I want to buy you guys lunch. I like how you handled that. And he looked at me. He said, you a Moor? I said, indeed. He said, it's an honor. He got up, shook my hand, but he gave me the grip, right? He gave me the little Mason grip, so he let me know he was the 33rd, right? So this is all without saying nothing. He just shook my hand. I shook it with him, whatever, so I already know. But see, I know because as a Moor, we're the ones that created all that for them. So I ain't got to go back and be none of that shit. You understand?
Right.
They got to show and prove to me why me as a Moor, meaning a 720 Master Mason, should even talk to them. This is how we supposed to be running it, right?
Right.
So homie felt the grip. We sat down. We start talking. He started giving it up off top. Start telling me what lodge he in. Start giving me his lights, his numbers, right? Start letting me know what degrees he dealing with, right? And I'm not asking him nothing. He just giving it up. Because that's what they supposed to do. Went in his hand, went in his pocket, gave me 2 pieces of silver, like 2 silver coins. Because that's what they supposed to do, the real ones.
Yeah, like on John Wick.
His briefcase and told me how he's a part of the Brotherhood of Death. And how he rolling around. So he opened up the briefcase, showed me he got the Glock 9 in there with some paperwork. Then he got a little plastic baggie, and he showed me the baggie. I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, yo, these is bones, right? He was like, yeah, man, those are bones. You know, we got to. One of the rituals is we got to walk around with the excess in our bag. So now I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, so you participated in a human sacrifice? He's like, well, I don't want to get into all of that, but yeah, I've attended certain rituals and blah blah blah. Come to find out, this nigga was a U.S. Marshal. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Real talk, more.
Man, y'all see the world we living in, man? Y'all see why Tadeda will stay up all night?
And I didn't even have all the knowledge that I got now. I didn't even have it all then when I met this nigga. So when he revealed this shit, I'm like, wow, this nigga got straight human bones in his bag, and he talking to me like it's all good, like he just showing me a bag of weed or something.
Normal.
Like, yeah, man, this is what I'm doing, blah blah. So I said, well, how long you been in? He said, I've been in the craft like 13, 15 years. He said, I'm about to move up now to the next rung or whatever, to the international side of shit. So whenever you get into that level of the game, man, you definitely participating in some sort of homosexuality, some sort of bloodletting, some sort of human eating, something.
You're no longer human. I got a question. I got a very important question now, because everybody looks the same. So we don't know who's family. We don't know who's eating babies. We don't know who's the dirty Moor.
Exactly.
We don't know. So can you give us like a question or something that only like a weird, like you gotta be weird if you know that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's things you could look for, man. It's kind of hard now because the devil is in plain sight. So everybody, not everybody, but like this. Like if a dude is talking to you about the black family, but you'll never see him with no woman. You know what I'm saying? You'll never see him with no family. Something wrong with that. Nigga talking about how he is all about black liberation and black this and black that and black this and black that.
Yeah.
But then he always doing it from his couch. Or he always doing it from a basement or something like that. Something wrong. If a dude is out here telling you about Moorish science and this and that, and he's a Moor and we supposed to be Moors and this and that, and then you ask him to see his ID, and he telling you his name is, Stephen Stephen Abdul Bey, but then you see his ID, and his ID say Robert Johnson. Stay away from people like that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we're gonna he's spitting knowledge too fast. I know it's gonna be hard to digest, but it's on video, so we gonna do a couple recaps throughout during the week. This is man,
Islam.
This is a summer jam right here, y'all. This is a summer jam. I don't know how I got myself over here in this position, but I mean, this is how life goes for us. You damn. So
Islam, I know it's crazy. That's why, again, more you don't see me in a lot of different ciphers, because once, like, there was an actual meeting where these guys got together and said that we're going to turn the so-called conscious community into a debate-based culture. So this way we can generate more revenue and we can see who the people respond to more than others. And so when I said so, y'all basically gonna make up debates and shit that's not real to see who the people like. And they was like, yeah. So I said, well, I'm not with that. They said, well, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing with us then. So I said, cool. So that's why you ain't never seen me and none of that stuff. But while it was going on, I was always letting people know through my show and my portals that this is what they doing to y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And
Social
that the more
engineering
energy you give to somebody to enslave you, the more you're going to be enslaved.
Yup, they social
and the
engineering.
New slave masters are these. The new slave masters are these so-called black men and so-called black women that are using knowledge as a means to control the masses by creating cults of personality around them, around themselves, which is then moving things away from, again, what the real founders, people like the Prophet Jew Ali, people like Marcus Garvey, people like, in our modern times, C. Freeman L., or, people who don't even remember who these people are. Stephen Coakley, Francis Cress Wilson, Queen Valeria, L. Bay. Like, there's a lot of people out here, man, who's putting out a lot of great info. And I came from the era where we used to share the info, meaning that the Nation of Gods on Earth would be there, the Moors would be there, the Kemites would be there, everybody would be there, and everybody give everybody speaker who represented them a platform to speak, and everybody would support. All that shit deaded when that foolishness started happening with the syndicate up there on 125th Street. All that shit deaded. When they realized that they could use this as a means, as a CIA operation, to target individuals who had a certain acumen or solution-based messages and keep them sequestered while all of the non-fact, all of the emotion-based information would be put to the forefront. So anybody bringing you a solution to something, like Dr. Claude Anderson,
Dane Calloway,
or somebody like that, somebody bringing you a
dangerous
solution, even me, somebody that can build with you on not only how to establish your estate and your trust and do a proper declaration so that way you're not listed on as a stateless or non-descendable person, to be able to then establish your estate as an indigenous so-called being on North, Central, and South America, where the same cracker government is the one validating what it is that you're saying.
Yeah.
That's solution-based. They don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear that.
What they want to hear is how this one don't like this one, how this one's knowledge is not like this, how this one got caught up into the sex orgy ritual. Like, this is what's going on in the community.
They want to hear racialized stories. A little black boy got, beat up at a mall and all the little more.
Yeah, man. All of this shit has nothing to do with moving us collectively forward.
Thank you.
Or giving us a base solution situation, so that way anybody that is solution based can't be focused on.
Yep.
So for everyone and me, it's like 18 different dudes that's out here taking bits and pieces of what I've been talking about for the past 25 years and then putting it out like it's some new shit.
Right.
But then not mentioning me. But then when I come in the cipher, now niggas feel away. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because at the same time now, you can't be me if I'm me. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't come at me if I'm already there.
Yeah.
You can't just say, oh, all Moors is throwing people. The Moors work with the crackers to throw people in slavery. You can't pop that off if I'm standing there, fam. Because I could throw 80 books at you that says the exact opposite.
Right.
Written by crackers. That's the whole shit. Most of the information, when I started this process, how I started it, research-based was a little different. Instead of trying to create a situation where I said, I'm going to prove that Moors exist, that black people are Moors, I set my research board up with the opposite. Prove that black people aren't Moors.
Yeah.
Right?
Reverse engineering.
Based on that research model, I would then have to go and find all the research that I could to prove, right, that black people weren't Moors.
Yep.
And you know what happened?
You couldn't do it.
I couldn't prove that.
You couldn't prove it. Yep. Yep.
I couldn't prove it.
Yep. That's the reverse engineering, y'all.
I got so much information to the opposite that I had to go with the conclusion that this is why they don't want us to be this, because this is actually, Moors are basically the princesses, the emperors and the empresses of the so-called African races. And that's what they don't want us to deal with.
Right.
Because when you say that you are Moor, and you look up historically on documentation, especially in legislative documents, Moors are usually the ones that can't be enslaved. Whatever is listed with Moors, it always is some shit like you can't enslave them. So ask yourself this: why wouldn't I want to be that? You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't I want to be the one thing that says that I cannot be enslaved?
Right. Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One thing I want you to kind of elaborate on is because now see, I'm new to the Aboriginal culture, because it's a culture behind this now. It's not just it's a big culture.
Way of life.
Right. It's a culture behind this, and so there's a lot of people out there that's in the culture, and I'm just now getting it myself. I'm learning it. I'm actually one of the guys. They accept me as one of the guys. I got my little role and stuff like that. I'm one of the,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the guys that brings the business and structure and stuff like
That's
that.
Right.
And so
right.
And so we have some solutions and stuff out there. We got the 5,000 League. We got our own communications network, which is the Lakeisha network, and we got some things going for ourselves. And so eventually, we're gonna have to start, working with other countries. And so right now in particular, we're trying to, we're trying to be able to work with Mexico. I got Mexico on my phone. I can call them right now. And so, but we have to get in the level that they're on. We have to have a cabinet. And so
see, you got to establish a government.
Right.
Like one of the things that we've been doing since 2013 was been working on establishing the actual government, the actual sultanic government that functions with the Imperial Foreign Ministry and the Embassy Foreign Consul. Because in order for you to do international business, even if you are indigenous, the first thing any indigenous person or anybody that identifies with that needs to do is you need to decide what type of indigenous or what nationality that indigenous thing is branched to.
Yeah.
And once you find that out, and basically creating documentations of political legitimacy that add on to those people that are going to be a part of that tribal government. Once that tribal government is established, then what needs to happen is an actual constitution drafted from the original representation of those people from that indigenous government. Once that's ratified, now you have a standing as a people. According to any state constitution, if you have 150 people, you can set up your own municipality. That's in every state in the union.
Yeah, we trying to get 5,000
people in the republic. Once you establish those basic aspects of it now, and then adopt your flag and shit like that, then everything happens. Like, look at it like this: the tribe that you are part of represents your family name. The clan that you're a part of represents the imperial side of that tribe. We as blacks, so-called Asiatics or melanated, carbonated people, we in our monarchy system, in our so-called day-to-day system, we were already princes, princesses, kings, queens, emperors, and empresses. You understand?
Yeah.
So that means that your progeny, your child is your prince. Your daughter is your princess.
Yeah.
Your grandfather is your emperor. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The father is the king. The mother is the queen. So this is how we already set it up. Remember, they married into our nobility. We didn't marry into their shit because they not noble. They not royal. They married into our situation, bleached it out, then denationalized the rest of us and made us take foreign names.
Right.
So when you're establishing your individual thing, like with us, we wind up having to create a long-standing situation by which I had to write, as the head of the state, had to write the then head of the country and let them know that we're taking the empire out of interregnum, which is Latin for recess. And that now that we've taken out of interregnum, we are enacting all of the ancient treaties. And so they need to send somebody or have somebody call me so we could set up a government-to-government interface.
Yes.
And they wrote back. Acknowledge the government, acknowledge the whole thing, said that you're right. Went so far as to tell us that they don't even have jurisdiction. But gave us the right channels to be able to further exercise what we're doing. And so we've been doing that. But all governments, if you notice, work privately. You can't have a government. You can't have a government and do it all in the public.
Right. That hence the 5,000 elite. You guys, get on my level.
Right.
Get on my level.
This movement is not gonna blow up based on Facebook, YouTube, or any type of viral communication.
Mm-hmm.
Just so your listeners know.
Yep.
This movement, like I said, has been going on since really, I could show you documentation from 1893 where they was referring to Moors as Moorish Americans here. Talking about how we had a Sultan of America here. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is in the 1800s, man. So what I'm trying to say is we're at a situation where we can be whatever we want. But you cannot predicate and base it on a YouTube presence, on a viral presence. It got to be, we put the meeting out, and then niggas show up.
Yeah.
And then we, in private session, create this agreement, and then whenever we got to do something to do it, we all show up and show out.
Yeah.
That's the only way it's going to work.
Yep. It always
If
works.
one of y'all people going to court, if one of y'all people get arrested or go to court as the nation, the whole nation is in court.
Yep.
You understand?
Yep.
When you do shit like that, they back up.
Yep.
That's why you don't never see no Jews heavy in jail.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you don't never see no Pakistanis in jail, no Sikhs in jail, right? The only people you see in jail is who? Black people, white people, Mexicans, Hispanics. That's it.
Yep.
When the last time you seen a Chinese person in American jail?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see
Because that don't happen. Because Chinese people got a nationality.
Yeah.
But even China has a Republican form of government.
Mm-hmm.
They call it Taiwan.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to mimic. That's what we're trying to mimic, and also Hong Kong. That's where we're going. That's our model that we're basing.
That's it, Mo.
That's our end game right there.
That's it. The only way we're going to win is to create these type of situations, set up environments where we can build collectively together, personally together, and then follow through with the directives.
International.
But we can't post a directive on the internet and expect the shit to work.
Right. Yep.
It's not going to work.
It ain't right. I don't think people understand that. I don't think that's hard. That's hard to get people to understand that most of the work is happening, privately, not on the internet. What you see on the internet is the offspring of the work, the glamour, the glitter of the work.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Use it for what it's there for.
Yeah.
Spread the word, but don't expect the word to come from that.
Yeah.
Like I said, we as people, y'all got to go back to reading books. Y'all got to go back to writing notes. You know what I mean? Y'all got to go back to actively going to libraries, buying situations, sitting down, speaking to people who's supposed to know. That's the only way you're going to do it. You can't glean. There's certain things that you would need to hear in a personal experience that won't come through a computer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because computers have edits, so they can edit whatever they want. But if you asking a nigga straight face-to-face something, he can't really front it off too much when you're speaking. But the internet, social media has created a situation where the more we're connected, the less we talk to each other.
Yeah.
So we just got to get back to a point where we communicate openly about shit that actually is real and look at it for what it is. If you want to be Aboriginal and Indigenous, great. Find out what was the name of the original people in your family based on your family name.
Right. Do it for
You know
real.
what I'm saying?
Do it for real.
Once you get that, and then let's say you want to declare your nationality, go back into the imperial sense, then you take your tribal name and annex it to your clannish name. So if I was John Smith, I would be John of the Smith Cherokees of the Moorish clan of Bay. Because see what the Eel and the Bay stuff does, what the Moorish connection to the indigenous connection is the fact that the Moors were the ones that protected the indigenous people's interests internationally. There's documentation that the Smithsonian, I got a page from it from the book where the Smithsonian basically lists all of the tribes that the Moors basically reintegrated into during the 1500s. And that was the Alabama, which is the Alabama, which is the Alabama, the Schuylkill of New York, the Muskogee, the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, which is the Choctaw, the Tuslahagi, which is the Anahuia, which is the Cherokee, the Anasazi, the Apache, the Comanche, the so-called Seminole, the Yamasee, the Washoe, the